views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Sunflower Media Mint. Some programs might include strong images or language that might be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
What can you do with 30 minutes? For us, we define things. Straightforward. New perspectives. No gray area. It is black and white. You're listening to the New You Podcast.
Oh, hey, we're live. Good evening. Welcome back to the podcast. It's the New You Podcast on the Thursday night, May 28th. It's me, H, together on the show, still Reg, and our guest for this evening, talking about the new Womanhood. We have Erika Fernandez. Hi, Erika. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Erika. Hey, how are you guys?
Actually, we're actually about to ask you, how are you during the quarantine? What's happening? What's up with you?
The quarantine has been pretty good. I kind of really needed this break, to be honest. So it's nice to go to work once or twice a week. I never thought I would be able to do that again in my life since college.
I think that nobody expected this happening. I mean, us being really back, like we're students. I mean, the summer's given back to us, right? We don't need to go to work or what. And exactly at the same moment where we used to go back to school, we have the months of April and May back to the
I know.
right?
Except
It's the same.
it feels like I'm grounded during the summer break. I feel
Yes,
like I'm grounded again. Like I did something bad
exactly.
and then I got grounded. So.
It more feels like we're expelled from school and then we're expelled.
Yeah.
And, okay, you need to call your
No
parents.
comments.
But yeah, put them here. We have to talk to you about something that you did. I mean, but anyway, Erika, for those who didn't know her, well, she's actually one of women empowerment advocate and more of not your usual, your typical girl, your type of girl. So that's what the reason why we have her on the show. And for this episode, well, it's going to be we're going to be discussing more on, hey, what's up with you ladies? I mean, we're in the middle of quarantine, and we've talked about, we've seen different angles of the society. We had DJs on the show. We had theater actors, directors as well. Right now it's about time to talk about well, you girls, Reg and Erica. Well, Reg as a woman as well. For you both, how do you see the new woman in the middle of this quarantine?
Erica, you can answer first. I'm gonna pass that to you.
Being the guest here for tonight, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to answer that first. But Reg, sure, no excuse. So go on, Erica.
The new womanhood,
Yeah.
like during the pandemic.
Yeah, your perspective, how do you see them? I mean, you personally, in your perspective, how are you approaching, reacting to this situation?
Well, it's nice. I feel like I'm becoming, because I'm stuck at home, I'm becoming more traditional. I've never cleaned so much in my life,
Okay.
honestly. But it's a really good time to really assess where we want to be in 5 years and how we choose to cope with this in this climate is going to kind of not really define, but it's going to change the way our lives were originally supposed to go. We become more responsible, or we could choose to go the completely other route, or we could choose to be, panicking during this time of crisis, or we can choose to be prepared.
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure.
It can go both ways, and I feel like this in 2020 actually. I was actually stuck in Tagaytay when Taal exploded when
Yeah.
it erupted.
you?
I was there. Yeah, so we were just driving up the ridge and we were like, oh, it's smoking. It's smoking, guys. And then, you know, one thing led to another. We had our lunch, and by that time, sulfur was coming out of the sky. So
Mm.
Yeah.
it was, I was like, okay, if this is how 2020 is going to go, I don't know how I'm going to live. And here we are, yet another crisis. So um, I just choose to look at it as things don't get easier, we just get stronger.
That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, Reg.
I mean,
Your turn.
for me, I mean, Erica and I share the same values when it comes to that. I mean, that's why we get along so well. But definitely, I've been taking a lot of time to get to know myself a bit more because when you're in quarantine, you have a lot of thoughts, you have a lot of things you want to do, a lot of things you want to accomplish, and I guess for me, my mindset, I've always told Erica this before. I mean, our mindset has always been similar in a way where we took, instead of experiencing just the pandemic as in a negative aspect, we took the opportunity to make something positive out of it. So, I mean, everybody has a different reaction, right, towards pandemics, towards negative situations. But um, one thing is for sure here during this pandemic, and it's that you're definitely realizing a lot of things that you haven't realized before. And you're seeing things in a different perspective and you're getting to know yourself a bit more. Like for me, I found out that like, it worked for me. At first, I was super discouraged, but having a consistent schedule where I would incorporate at least 5 times a week of workouts or like a little bit of action or moving around the house or doing something else, it has definitely helped me cope in terms of my mental health as well. And it kind of just helped me in a way with my physical health as well.
Oh, we'll go with the mental health later. So don't get too
Mhm.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
But but speaking of it, having the discussion about the womanhood itself, it's actually a very generic topic, and we wanna streamline it in a sense that we're talking about the what do you call this how you girls right now are not really evolving is the term, but more of guess coping up with how the current situation is treating us. So I think hearing Erica mentioning earlier um, doing some things that normally you don't usually do, and then all of a sudden we're all stuck here in the comfort of our homes, and we're tied to do things on our own. So honestly, I'm seeing when I go out, there are actually people, girls, um, who somehow we can see that okay, they're actually working in the morning, but then doing the groceries afterwards. So there are a lot of things that personally I'm seeing the woman right now being more independent, okay, being more they can live on their own, and they want to show it that they can stand on. But well, you've talked about this earlier. Another good thing that we want to address here is well about mental health. So earlier in the pre-show, you two have been talking about how mental health is actually a big thing in this pandemic right now. All of us being stuck, we all have different ways to cope up with our mental health. For Erica, on your side, having how do you really take care of your mental health? I mean, the physical stuff later on we can discuss, but right now first we talk about how can we share with the viewers right now what can they do in terms of taking care of their mental health in this time of pandemic.
Well, I feel like everybody has different needs in general. And so
Mhm.
it's the same when it comes to mental health, I would think, from what I know about mental health. Um, like for me personally, kind of like I'm kind of like a lone wolf. And so I need a lot of alone time compared to most people. And that means in complete isolation.
Oh, that's different. Yeah.
No girlfriends, no boyfriends, no family, maybe only my dog. So
Just me, myself,
especially
and I.
during
Yeah.
times, yeah. So there are times that I really need in a day,
Mm.
every day, I need alone time. And depending on the kind of day I had, I would either need a lot more or a lot less. So for some people, it's different.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend, Dan, my dear friend Jay.
She's watching
Um,
this right now.
he
Hi,
likes
Jay.
to be around people. Likes to be around people. So I feel like her way of coping would be like, I want to be with my friends. I want to be with my boyfriend. I want to be with my dogs. I want to be with my family. It depends. It depends what you like. And so like times like this, like you can't go out. You want to go on hikes. You want to travel. So in our generation, I don't know why, but we've glorified traveling as
Mhm.
a way to reflect your social status or socioeconomic status of some sort. And so I see a lot of girls and guys who really value travel to reflect that aspect.
Mhm.
No hating or anything. It's just my observation. I can't travel as much as some of the friends or some of the people I see, my acquaintances, my colleagues. I can't travel as much as they do. I don't make that much. So, you know, to each your own. But since we can't do that now, people would have to find other ways to be able to fill in that gap. Something's missing in their life that makes them whole. So you have to assess what it is that is missing in your life in order to adapt quickly. And so a lot of people take a little bit longer than others to figure that out. But once you figure that out, you're good. So I figured out that um, I could actually work out at home. I never did that at the time until now. So that's a completely different side of of my coping mechanism to help my mental health. But most of it really is silence, health. I like to be alone, so I need time to read. I need time to browse the internet. I need time to read the news by myself. Mornings are for coffee and contemplation for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, to add to that, I mean, you mentioned about working out at home. Um, in all honesty, well, one of the key online online selling is quite bigger. I mean, for even the the individuals, you don't need to be a corporation or a big company, just being a seller online. And I think one of the key things that or key items that are actually familiar are popular right now is gym equipments, the small ones, because everybody wants. I mean, uh, on
Repeat that again.
yeah, online businesses right are cool. I mean, if you're not selling
Yeah.
food, if you're not selling food, because food, of course, everybody needs food. The next to it is actually gym equipments. So I'm seeing a lot of
Mm,
people really getting into it, getting fit or trying to be not really toned, but more of the
yeah.
healthy lifestyle. Okay, I mean they are not doing
Hmm.
the workout thing to be beach ready because nobody's allowed to go to the beach. But it's more of yeah,
Yes.
just
Yes.
really
Yeah.
being healthy. Reg, on your end, how what can you share with our listeners right now? I mean, in terms of like what Erica mentioned, it's a different thing for each individual when it comes to mental health or thinking about your mental. On your end,
Actually,
yeah, on your end, how do you do this? How do you cope up?
no, actually, to be honest, when the lockdown started, I had such a hard time trying to get used to it, especially since, Harley, we're working from home as well. We work 9 to 6. Uh, but one thing that I realized was that as long as I kept my daily schedule, the schedule I had prior to the lockdown, I was doing better and better as each day came. I mean, it's better to have a schedule to work with so that at least you're productive or making good use of your time. Definitely, I bought a few gym equipments at home. Um, because I normally work out before going to work. I work out at 5 a.m. But
Yeah.
since work I work out at 5 a.m. and then I'd normally, like, my normal routine was I'd wake up at 5, I'd go for a run, and then I'd go to the office by 9. But since I'm just at home, I'm able to do it still consistently, especially since, my laptop is just a foot away. Um, and I found that definitely, like, if I took that out of my equation, it would really fuck me up. In a way that I wouldn't be able to focus. So for me, my coping mechanism was also quite similar to Erica, because Erica works out almost every day as well. It just helps keep the mind and the body going. And aside from that, I also found time to do the hobbies that I used to do that I never really had time to do since I started working. So I've been tearing through a few books as well. I've been making coffee every morning, just like Erica, and I've just been enjoying the fact that we're actually in safer places compared to other people. We actually have a home. There's a lot of things to be grateful for and to think about and reflect on while you're in lockdown.
Well, yeah. With you mentioning coffee, well, I actually remembered we're going to have an episode regarding the new coffee shops. I think that's sometime from June. We're talking about baristas. So we're talking about how the coffee shop industry is going to transform. That's just a side note.
Yeah.
And then, well, going back, since we've been talking about workouts, I mean, we know for a fact that there are a lot of videos on YouTube or applications that people can use. If they don't have any tuner, I have a friend actually who is doing sessions on Zoom, so to encourage workouts. So at least being the trainer still on Zoom and then continue the workouts of those who enrolled in her gym. Okay, but you two, as we've been talking earlier pre-show, you're into this Krav Maga thing. Okay. The only time I heard this term, this Krav Maga, is when I was watching How I Met Your Mother. But I don't really understand. Okay, but can you guys share our listeners right now, our viewers right now, what this Krav Maga is really all about?
That's actually how Erica and I met.
Okay.
um, so Krav Maga is an Israeli defense system. It's what they use in the IDF. So it's their hand-to-hand combat system, and it's literally self-defense. It's contact combat. It was founded by this. Sorry, because that's I thought Erica Krav Maga. So I'll just explain like a brief background of Krav Maga. So Krav Maga was founded by Imi Lichtenfeld, and he started the system at the peak of anti-Semitism, during the time where they were being abused and a lot of shit was happening to them. So it literally came out as a form of self-defense,
Okay.
And then later on they incorporated into their army and everything. So Erica and I met actually through my dad, and
Funny story.
and
Fun fact.
Erica wanted to do Krav, and my dad was like, "Oh, you should meet my daughter." And happily ever after, ever since, I guess. So Erica and I train, but Erica also is a mixed martial artist. So she also does boxing. She does sagasa, and she does kali as well, right, Erica?
Yes, Calus Illustrissimo.
Yeah.
I mean,
So that's been our thing.
Erica having doing this all of this, well, as we can call it, untraditional things for women. I mean, we are more. I mean, the Filipina is more on the traditional stuff that the girls do, and then you here doing more stuff, more on the outdoor, more on the unorthodox or unusual stuff that usually girls would do. And that's the reason why we have you on the show talking about the new womanhood. Here to share, I mean, the audience on this mentality that you have in terms of being explorative with those stuff that you.
Um, I see a lot more other girls
Mhm.
now who, again, because travel is kind of a big deal in our generation,
Yeah.
so a lot of them are becoming really outdoorsy, very sporty, very, very in touch with nature. They do free diving, yoga. So, it's not really just me.
Yes,
It's
yes.
it's but the I get what you're saying about the whole martial arts thing. In other cultures, in other countries, there are martial arts that were founded by women for women.
Hmm.
So it gives you leverage over attacks, specifically using certain techniques that give the woman an advantage. So I'll give you an example. I have a friend who has been um, practicing Wing Chun, and Wing Chun is was founded by a 5 foot woman,
Okay.
and so this was in China. Um,
Someone like Gloria makapaglaro yun. Well, Gloria is about 4'11".
hold on, that hold on, no comment.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
No commenting.
Okay.
Yeah.
No reference. No. Okay. Go on. Go on. Go on.
Nothing
Okay.
against smaller women. I
Yep.
love them. My
Yeah.
girlfriend is like 5 feet tall, so I love them.
So, guys, listen to this episode full because you might take this out of context. So we're talking about the shorter women because we're talking about history here. So sorry, Erica, go on with the history of this
Yeah.
nation.
So so maybe in our society, because it was the men who went out
Mhm.
to fight the Spaniards, to fight the Japanese. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. It was the men who founded those bladed sports, actually.
Hmm.
So, like the the form of bladed arts that I do is Calus Illustrissimo, founded by Tatang Illustrissimo, and um, I don't see a lot of women there. But the reason I advocate training is because women also get attacked by knives. So
That's true.
on the streets, they're held up, they're held at knife point, and so it's ideal for women to know not to be entirely afraid of it, and so to know how to maneuver themselves, to position themselves. They need to develop a sense of awareness for their surroundings, and also a sense of confidence. The moment you see a blade, happens with a lot of guys too. Actually, it happened with my brother, and we were using a rubber we were using
Okay.
a rubber knife, and so he was freaking out just because it looked like a knife. It's
Okay.
just a stigma we have. It's
Yes.
Yeah.
just a stigma we
That's
have
true.
because we're not exposed and we're not used to it. So what our instructors do is they drill us so that we get used to the usual movements when you're being held up or someone's trying to stab you this way. So same with Regina in Krav Maga, they have that their style, the way they react to certain blade attacks, especially popular blade attacks. It's
Yeah.
very, very prevalent. Those are important because like 90% of the time perpetrators will attack that way. So it's important to know how to get the F out of the way. Yeah.
And by default, uh, this is something that most of us react to it. I mean, most of the people, either men or women, when they see something, not just even knives or what, um, that moment of shock, they black out.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very
So
paralyzing. Very
yes,
paralyzing.
It is. It really is.
mentally for a moment, you froze, and then you don't know what to do. And I think that the good thing with what you two are actually doing, and this is actually part of the empowering of the women, and so as with men, of course, is to actually have that right mindset whenever those type of dangerous situations happen. Okay, because
Exactly.
honestly, okay, just linking it with the current situation, man, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Okay, the economy of the world is actually going down sea level wherever it can just go down, and we don't hold the order in this country in particular.
Hmm.
Okay, we don't know what will happen next. We don't know how the society will actually react uh, when hunger comes in, when scarcity comes in, there's a lot of, I don't want to talk about, I don't want to even think about it. But the reality is, if hunger comes in, there's going to be chaos. You know.
Yeah.
And knowing that, I mean, knowing those defenses, knowing that right mentality in terms of having this, not that this is, I mean, the episode is about new woman, but with that certain topic that we've been discussing, it actually applies to all, also with men.
Yeah,
But the,
actually,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if
definitely.
you guys saw, they were going viral. Like a few videos were being passed on, especially not recently, but probably like a month ago or something. There were like videos of people saying na ingat kasi may akyat bahay,
yeah, that's true. Oh,
Yes.
dami,
you know,
correct.
like nearby or
They,
like sa QC may
you
I
know,
mean, that happens. That's been happening also.
as long as your basic needs, so in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the very bottom part of the
Yeah.
pyramid, food, clothing, shelter,
Mm.
as long as any of that is going to be taken away, you will have violence.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's very, very easy for shit to go south when those things are taken away. And so our government, it's their job to be able to ensure the continuity of those things because there will be anarchy. And so when our government can no longer protect us or provide or at least our basic needs and rights, that is what's going to happen. And so I've been taking it upon myself to work out every day in case shit goes south. It is a real thought in my head, and it
Really,
it
yeah.
is something I've spoken about to my family. So, what
Mm-mm.
if there are a lot of what ifs? Like, what if martial law is declared?
Yeah.
What do we do? What if someone comes into the house? What if one of our people have COVID? What if you have COVID? What if one of us have COVID? What is the protocol? So it's
Mhm.
discussing all of that that makes everything easier mentally. So when the more prepared you are, the better you will sleep at night.
It's not about being paranoid or running in Tagalog, but it's
It's healthy
actually,
paranoia
yeah,
actually.
it's actually being prepared. No, I mean, you know what they
Yeah.
say. It's not about being paranoid. For some, they would say you're being negative again. You're thinking about this and that. Uh, but in reality, how prepared are you? I mean, mentally, whatever,
No,
or
yeah.
of course,
These
physically
are
as well.
possible realities. You know, these are quite feasible. They can happen when we least expect it, you know.
Eh, it's a
Malay
good.
mo,
Yes, Rich,
mm.
go
I
ahead.
mean, malay mo, diba, you go to the mall and then, because one of my friends said that his cousin went to the supermarket and then he tested positive. Like in just
Really,
like one day he wasn't and one day he was. He didn't see it coming.
it's something that we are all unsure. And coming this Monday, I think it's announced that we're going back to GCQ. Okay, before we wrap this show, the new womanhood, your personal take. I mean, being part of this society, being women who are really outspoken on what you do, on your craft, on how women should be treated equally in society. What's your take with us going back to GCQ by Monday? Reg first.
Me first.
Unless Erica would volunteer. Either of you two. I mean, what's your take on that, girls? With the number of cases, today actually they announced it, and then this is the highest positive
Yes,
rate that we
Yeah, yeah,
have
it
so
is.
far.
since the
And
last peak. Since the last peak, this is the second highest. Yes.
Yeah.
th-
Um,
this
I
is
kind of worry about all the other women who are due for pregnancy. They're due. I have friends who are due in the next 2 weeks, and they
okay.
have the highest rates again of patients all over the country, and so that's very worrisome. Talking about womanhood, that's also something to consider. It's
True.
very irresponsible. It's a very irresponsible move to allow people to move around, with these rates skyrocketing. But at the same time, there are other sources that I've heard from that these these results were actually of a 2-week backlog that were not reported all at once. It was staggered so that it didn't, look like the government was out of control.
Yeah.
So,
Well, for me, it's not actually what do you call this? I'm okay with the businesses returning.
They
Whatever,
have to, I feel like, so that our
yes,
economy doesn't fully tank, you know.
whatever we what do you call this? Whatever road we take, if we stay at home, business doesn't open up. It's all fucked up either way. So
policy is important,
well, this one, yeah,
and effective policy is important.
I think they really have just to make sure that whatever policy they are giving is followed. Uh, we're not going back to GCQ before because it's safe. Okay, we're going back to GCQ because the economy needs it. Everyone
Yeah.
needs it. It's not saying that okay, we can all go back. It's all normal. It's all safe. We can hang around. We can go to the malls and all. It's not about that. It's really because the businesses needs their revenue back, and for the circulation of
Mhm.
well money to evolve again, to revolve again. Because if that's not going to happen, um, a month after that, a month of still no what do you call this business for everyone, it's going to be chaos. And well, a good point that you mentioned, Erica, is about also those who are actually pregnant. With the new womanhood, I think it's going to be what do you call this heavier. I mean, for them carrying a baby for 9 months already
In the time of a pandemic,
in the
not
time of a
I mean,
pandemic.
yeah.
Everything is very risky right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's something that they don't really expect. It's something that they are nobody's prepared. I mean, for them, before all of this happened, I'm really quite excited. We're going to have a baby. I'm really treated well all, but all of a sudden, then how about those women that doesn't really have their own private cars? I mean, come time that they have to deliver, what's going to be their workaround? There are a lot of things. I mean, society itself, it's a big circle. It's a big circle wherein you have multiple levels, and we don't sit on the same level. Okay? This is the reason why we have the show about society and culture, the new you. When we talk about this, we're not talking about just the level that we're seeing. We want to see as well all levels, all levels of the society. So, like on the next episode, we're going to have a doctor who's evolving his business into a new consultation because we want to really just talk about this is not just about entertainment and all, more of a documentary of what the pandemic is all about. But this is more of really what's happening, what's new with the society. So if you're looking at really what's new, okay, you can catch the episodes of the New You podcast in Spotify and Apple Podcast afterwards. Anyway, to wrap this up, guys, the new womanhood. I don't have a say on it.
I
I don't have a say on it. So Ren, you need to wrap this up for me. Uh,
I
you
mean,
you too.
I've been thinking about it
Yeah.
since this started, and I've known Erica for a while already, and I feel like a lot of my friends as well, personally, a lot of my girlfriends, there are a lot. Definitely, women are more outspoken now. They are more themselves or feeling themselves a bit more, and for me, I feel like the new womanhood is more of, well, for person, this is my personal opinion, but I feel like although women don't really see that they have that strong personality in them, or that fighter personality, I feel like it's in every woman. I mean, the fact that women have to endure a lot of things, like especially what Erica mentioned, which is pregnancy in the time of a pandemic, that's very difficult to handle or to grasp, that
That's true.
aspect itself. So women are strong, and they can tap into that. They can tap into their strength, and they can hone into their strength. But women also, I feel like right now, have also been more aware of taking care of themselves physically and mentally. especially during this pandemic. Erica.
Oh, um, basically, I would just add the the new womanhood should be should be a prepared woman.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, you have to be able to understand your limits. You need to understand your strengths. You have to be able to work with what you have, and you need to be able to adapt.
It's true.
So all
Yeah.
in all, you need to be prepared. So one of the things that I forgot to mention earlier is regarding the whole mental health,
Yeah.
coping with mental health, especially during the time of this crisis, is really limiting yourself to quality information. So read what's available, but only keep what you need in order to stay informed. So a lot of people read all sorts of crap online and then they get scared and they get they get paranoid. It's unnecessary. You cannot be prepared mentally if you're bombarded by things like that. So one of the things that I do, especially during this time, is to really limit my exposure to certain things online. Especially now, it's just flooded with all sorts of crap.
Yeah.
So pick wisely, give yourself a time limit, spend the rest of the time bettering yourself, staying healthy, eating healthy, working out, um, and preparing yourself. So use what you read, what you see online, what you experience to be better prepared.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to add.
That's nice. If I'm going to add as a man, I mean, on my perspective, I mean, I think I have to say something about this. It's more of
Mhm.
it's more of if we're talking about the new humanhood, well, womanhood. Ako nabubulol dito. Okay, if we're talking about the new
Are
womanhood,
you nervous around us?
no, no, because if we're talking about the new womanhood, okay, it's more of I'm not saying it's not really remove or what. It's more of you don't have to really be dependent to men or to anything. You have you need to have that mindset of being really independent. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever happens, whatever resource I have, whatever tools I have here at home, whatever food is there, whatever what the limitation gives me, okay, whatever rules I have to follow, I need to work my way out. Okay,
Yes,
I
you
know
need to be prepared.
exactly. I'm not saying that uh women are like these, but most I would say. And this is something that you have all the time of this pandemic right now to hone that. And the first thing to actually for you to do that is to accept that there's something to improve. Okay,
Hmm.
Agree.
if we keep on sitting there and saying that I'm good as is, or that mentality na this is who I am, accept me for who I am, nothing's gonna change. Okay, if that mentality is so old school, okay, every
Yeah.
day for one we should all be thankful that we are still living right now. Okay? And for every 24 hours given to each one of us, it's a matter of how do
Hmm.
you spend it. Okay, and it's for us to be after this pandemic, be out there like what we always mention in the show. Go out of your house and say that hey, this is a better me. This is a new me. This is a new you. Erica, thank you. Um, thanks for guesting on the show. We had a lot of fun. I hope you had too. Reg, anything to say?
Um, all right. So after this episode, this will be available, if I'm not mistaken, on Apple Podcast and on Spotify Podcast. If you're enjoying this show right now in this stream, Make sure to like and follow our Facebook page at facebook.com/the new UPH. We will also be posting updates on our Instagram account at the new UPH.
Erica, anything to add? I mean, where can they, with all of this new stuff, the girls listen to, anything online that they can catch up, where to learn
Where
those
can they
things that they
slide
can,
to
yeah.
your DMs?
Oh, well, there are a lot of resources out there. There are a lot of coaches out there. If you want, you can always send me a DM. I can refer you to some coaches who can coach you online. If it's for boxing, I would recommend Amy. Her handle is Dead Aim Amy. She's a pro boxer. She used to be a pro boxer in Korea,
She's a
and
badass. Mhm.
yeah, she's a really good teacher. I highly suggest her um, for kickboxing. Well, we used to have classes, but at this time we're not holding any. So, but if you want to talk about online classes, maybe I can get some of the instructors to be able to hold some for you. Very hard to teach self-defense right now. Wouldn't you agree, Reg?
Yeah, but I know one of my friends who's also an instructor is having online Krav Maga classes and drills, basically that they can do at home or they can do with their family and with their spouse. So
Okay.
you can also check that out.
Okay.
Cool.
So once again, thanks for the time, Erica. Like what Reg
Sure.
mentioned, after this episode, after this live stream, so thank you guys for tuning in for a bit. I think it's about 45 minutes of talk. So next week we will do something different on the show. And we'll have a third show every week. Okay, that's going to be on Fridays. We're going to launch Womanhood. Okay, Womanhood is actually a podcast as well, same with the new you, still on this channel. But we have the DJs on the show creating their own curated playlist that will be available on Spotify as well. So we're working on with the likes of John Godin, Dara, Vino, Patty, Mark, the DJs in the Philippines, homegrown talents, okay, creating their own playlist to share with you guys. And this time of pandemic, it's out there on Spotify. It's going to be out there on Spotify afterwards. So it depends on your mood, whatever state of mind you are in. Okay, hopefully it fits. So we're launching that next week, and we'll also have the new basketball by Tuesday. We'll have Carl Santos, the coach of the LSGH NCAA team, and so as my friend Pat here on the show to discuss about the norms of the new basketball. And we'll have one of my teachers next week who's now based in New York. We will talk about the new teaching. Okay, it's a good time to talk about it because, well, for one, the Philippines doesn't know what to do with teaching. So, for those who want to tune in next week, we'll see you guys. Once again, Erica, thank you. Reg, thanks as well. So for all
Thanks,
those
guys.
listening, tuning right now, thanks for supporting the show. The UU Podcast, you can check out the website. It's www.thenewuph.com. Once again, thanks guys. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.